Oh, excuse me. Oh. Oh. Oh, hello. I didn't see you there. Welcome. How are you today? Well, that's just grand. What am I doing? Well, kind of hanging out in my corner trying to figure out a way to trigger stuff on my Eurorack using Ableton and the drum rack thing, the sequencer in Ableton. And I think I've worked out a fairly easy concept, but executing this concept is proving to be incredibly clunky. But after I've executed that concept, it should be fairly straightforward. Shall I talk you through it? Well, first thing I've had to do is I've had to create an aggregate audio device in my Mac Audio MIDI settings, which is using my Tascam Model 12 and the Expert Sleepers ES8, which I shall point to there. So they are now running as one audio interface in Ableton. So if I was to go to my inputs here, you can see that I have a ridiculous amount of inputs now. So I did kind of think, oh, you know, I'll make a max patch that triggers the right amount of voltage that I need and send it out the ES8 to my modules. And then I thought, must be an easier way than that. And there is. We'll just sample a gate. We'll sample a trigger, and then we'll trigger that sample of the gate and use that to trigger our modules. Simple. How am I going to do that? Well, I could probably take like a gate from the pressure points, but I might just use the end out CV on the Varigate 8 here. So I'm going to come out of that. I'm going to go to input 1 on the ES8. Okay. So I'm going to fire that off now and try and find where on earth that is. Oh, well, I can see actually already. I think it's probably coming in on input 1. So let's go to input 1. I won't monitor it. I'll just sample one of those gates, see how it looks. There it is. There's the gate. There's another one. Okay. So that's it. That's basically it. Couldn't be any more easier. I'm going to go to this transient here. I'm going to go set 1 here. Let's just move this up here. I don't really need that second gate. I'll take like this bit here. And there we go. That is what I'm going to use to trigger it. And I'm going to use that to trigger it out of the ES8 because the ES8 has DC coupled inputs and outputs, as do Motu audio interfaces and some other things. Can't tell you all of them, but they do exist. And I believe that iPhones and iPads have DC coupled inputs and outputs as well. Did you know that? So let's make a drum rack now. And let's just take that clip and dump it on a cell and see what we get. Okay, that's looking pretty good. I don't want the filter on. I don't want any of this stuff on. In fact, I might just use one shot. And I'll say trigger so that it plays all the way through on one go. Oh, there we go. We can hear it. Could you hear that? That's pretty ugly, isn't it? So, how do we get that to the modular? Well, I'm going to use an external audio effect device. So I can route this trigger out. Now I have to make sure I'm using the right input. In fact, I can take this out now. I have to make sure I'm using the right output, I should say. So I'm fairly certain that 1 to 4 is the first 4 inputs of the ES8. So I think 5 is output number 1. Let's see. No, that's output number 5. Okay, that's not what I want. So let's try Okay, so if you look at the ES8, you can see that when I press the drum rack pad, it's lighting up. Brilliant. That's it. So, why don't we use that to trigger something? Let's trigger the Bassimilus, which I've got plugged in already. This is really dangerous because I've got 2 mic stands, 2 web cameras, and 2 lights set up in my tiny space. So let's put that in there. Okay. And then I was going to run the whole thing in as a stereo mix, but now I've changed my mind. I'm going to run it in on its own channel. So I'm going to send this back in to input 1 on the ES8. I'm going to come to my external audio thing here and say, come in on... Oh gosh, I probably should have named all these inputs and outputs. 1, it looks like. So out on 1, in on 1. There we go. Can you hear that? That's the Bassimilus Iteratus Alter. Right, so now I can just put in some patterns here. Not at 175, that's a bit excessive for a Tuesday afternoon. So, as you can see from the push, I've made a sequence. And I can tweak this a little bit now. Alright, pretty cool. I'm just going to have a little guzzle of beer to celebrate my work. I know it's Tuesday afternoon, but, you know, unprecedented times call for unprecedented afternoon drinking. So, let's copy that to another cell. Let's go into our drum rack. Let's give that cell a different colour, shall we? Blue. Okay, so that now should be blue on the push. Lovely. So let's go to a different output and a different input and wire that up to another module, perhaps braids. I've got braids plugged in right now, ready for a little drum sound. Let's just check, see if that's... Yeah, I can see number 2 is lighting up. Beautiful. Let's come out of number 2 and then let's go... Oh, I've plugged that in there for some reason. Let's go back into number 2. See what we get. Hey! So, let's put a little pattern in for that, some random junk. Oh. Oh, I need to hit play. Duh. There we go. There we go. Now we got a little... Well, that's meant to be a snare, but it doesn't sound... Got some bleeps. Let's maybe adjust the decay a little bit. Okay. Oh, now it's gone to bell. All right, one more then. Let's copy that cell to another cell. Let's give this a nice... Oh no, we've done green already. How about red? Okay. And we'll send this one to output 3 to come back in on input 3 on the ES8. I'm not sure what that is. What's that? That is very unnerving. There's some constant signal coming in. All right. Probably an unhealthy amount of signal there. I'm going to ignore it for now and carry on having a laugh. Let's now patch in rings. Yeah, rings. Rings is cool. So let's come out of output 3. This is so awkward. Go into the strum. Well, actually, I think we can just come in on the input. I'm not sure. We'll try them both. We'll come back into input 3. See what we get. There we go. There it is. Beautiful. Okay. Cool. those coming in on separate channels here, we can solo them in Ableton. We could have put some Ableton devices on there. Let's put the echo on. And let's maybe go to the bell thing. Let's put a reverb on that. So this really is a really satisfying fusion of hardware and software coming together, making little noise babies. I can tweak around the kick if I want. So yeah, like if you use a drum rack, you can open and close. Maybe you can't see it right now because of the OBS. Let me just move all this away. You can open and close this and then kind of treat each cell as in the drum rack as its own sort of track, which is nice. But what I might do now is maybe just stick a bit of glue compression on the whole thing, just to sort of round it off nicely. Just a little bit. Nice, and then I could like take a copy of this clip, delete the one with the kick on, and then have a little break. Tweak about with both of them together. So yeah, quite easy really. Just sample the trigger, sample a gate from your Eurorack and put it in a sampler, and then trigger the sample to trigger your modules. There you go. Hope you had fun. See you next time. Do stop by again, won't you? Cheers.